All right, you guys, what's going on? This your boy Town Biz. All right, so check this out. First of all, first of all, once again, shout out, man. Once again, shout out to Brian Norman Jr. That might be knockout of the year. Still we got some time left. You know, 2025 is half over now that we in June, 6 months left, but it's gonna be hard to beat that. That was a beautiful knockout. But what I want to speak on is fanboys. You have fanboys, then you have haters, and then you have Sambos going on these major outlets trying to downplay what Brian Norman Jr. did. See, this is what I'm talking about. People cannot make up their mind about what they want out of a fighter, or should I say what they require from a black fighter. Now, we just coming off May, where everybody and their mama, some of these people, were complaining, whining, crying, bitching about, oh, well, we don't want to see no running. Oh, we want fighters to come forward. We want knockouts. We want knockouts. This is what we want to see. We're tired of all the running. We want these fighters to fight. All right, so here you have it. You have Brian Norman Jr., who goes into, I'm not going to say enemy territory, but who goes overseas, goes across the world, and puts on a dominant, beautiful performance. But you got people on here hating on this dude. Either they may be bouts extremists, or they're racist, or they're just casuals who just gonna shit on a black fighter regardless. And don't come on here talking about, hey, Tim, why are you making this? Because I want to. Because I see the play. I see this on a regular basis. People should be saying that was a great performance, and we can't wait to see what happens. Oh, he was supposed to knock out. Like, y'all don't know what y'all want. And this is what I'm saying. You used to get this from Triple G fans. Triple G was knocking out truck driver after truck driver, knocking out dudes that worked at Foot Locker, and everybody was talking, oh, Triple G is the truth. He's the real deal. He's the real deal. See, this is what we want. And Deontay Wilder was doing the same thing. But you heard, oh, he hasn't fought anybody. Oh, like this is what I'm talking about. We should be sitting up here giving this man credit. See, that's what I'm saying. Y'all always push the motherfucking goalpost back. You always switch the narrative up. Now, if he had went the distance, then y'all will be saying, oh, he should have knocked a guy like that out. It's always an excuse. Black fighters can't get their credit to save their life. And I'm just sick of it. I'm just sick of some of y'all people. And I understand what the homie Two Raw was talking about when he said that he got to take a break sometimes from the internet because these people ain't real. Just like you get these clowns every time they see Devin Haney boxing, hitting the heavy bag and say, oh, this dude can't crack an egg. I bet none of y'all would stand in front of Devin Haney and let him like use y'all or replace y'all for a heavy bag. I guarantee none of y'all would do that. It's easy for somebody to sit up here that ain't never had a fight in their life to sit up here talking stuff. See, that's the thing. I done been in fist fights. It hurts to get punched in the face. It hurts to get hit in the ribs. It don't matter how hard or not hard somebody is. A punch, you still gonna feel some pain. So this is why I know most of y'all don't know nothing about boxing. And like I said, Brian Norman Sr., that's my people. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with Junior. At the end of the day, we should be talking about a potential matchup between him and Boots eventually, or Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez. But now you see why Teofimo Lopez ducked that fight. And this is what I'm talking about with Teofimo Lopez. This is why I know he don't really want to fight. He don't really want to fight Boots. He don't really want to fight Terrence Crawford. He could have easily jumped in the ring with Brian Norman Jr. and he turned it down. He turned down $11 million to fight light punching, no power, shell shocked Devin Haney. This is why I know none of y'all don't know nothing about boxing. Please stop talking boxing. Y'all are clueless. Y'all are clueless. Y'all are casual. Some of y'all just plain flat out just racist. And then the rest of y'all are just cornballs. You're casuals. And some of y'all are just, straight up Sambos. Like I said before, you think I'm finna sit up here and downplay that performance? That was one of the, man, I'm talking about, that was a beautiful punch. And I see people on the bigger boxing outlets like hating, as they usually do. You can tell by their names. Most of them have Spanish last names. So of course, as expected. So, I already knew when he put the dude to sleep. I said, I guarantee you that people gonna find something wrong. They're gonna hate. They're gonna try to downplay. They're gonna make every excuses to try to dismiss, what Brian Norman Jr. did. This man went over in Japan and put on a dominant performance. This is how we build fights. See, this is the pros and cons of the internet. When somebody's sitting behind a computer and stuff, God knows where, sitting up talking, and then they're not making no kind of sense. This is the down part. This is the downside of the internet. Where the internet has its good sides, but this is the downside of the internet. When you have these type of people. When guys like Larry Holmes was coming up, Sugar Ray Leonard, when they were building themselves up and they were getting knockouts or they were getting stops, getting knockouts, beating the dude down, and eventually getting the stop or getting the one punch knockout, people gave them credit. They was like, what's next? But then here it is with Brian Norman Jr. Oh man. Oh, guys like that, you're supposed to knock them out. And the thing is, let's just keep it a buck. None of y'all had saw that dude fight for the most part. None of y'all had did even actual research. It's very impressive to go into a dude's home country and dominate like that. And that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be like, nah, we ain't leaving this in the hands of the judges. We going in there, we gonna get the stoppage. So, like I said, I expected this to happen. I knew people wasn't going to be on one accord. I knew there was just going to be some haters that's going to sit up there and congregate and kiki with these racists. That's the problem with a Sambo. See, that's not me. I am not fit to downplay what Brian Norman Jr. did. This man has improved and got better each fight. You've seen the improvement in the growth in his last two fights, from when he fought in San Diego to earlier this year. But like I said, this is why you don't pay attention to some of these people on here, man. Let me see. And the thing is, with Brian Norman, he just had a fight. He just had a fight in March. Got right back to work. And then he talking about having another fight between September, October, maybe November. And I'm going to tell you now, his stock did go up. So for you fools sitting up here saying that, oh, his stock did, yes, it did. When you get knockouts like that, okay, if that's not the case, how come Triple G's stock was going up? How come his stock was going up when he was fighting the type of dudes he was fighting? Most of the dudes he was fighting, I know they were saying they was his mandatories and all this stuff, but they were far more credible fights he could have took and he didn't take them. So like I said, okay, this dude was ranked number 6. He wasn't mandatory, but he was ranked. But like I said, when Triple G was fighting all these dudes that you never heard of, knocking them out, and he could have took far more credible fights. He could have took, come on, man. He could have took a Daniel Jacobs rematch, and he elected not to fight Daniel Jacobs. So, like I said, so what's the difference between Triple G and Deontay Wilder when they were knocking out everybody? And then Brian Norman Jr. scores a very impressive knockout, but everybody got something to say. But then if you question anybody who Triple G fought, you just don't like it because you just don't like it because he's not black. But you were accusing primarily black content creators of being racist or being a hater. So if that's the case, what are you doing with Brian Norman Jr.? My assessment of Triple G was fair because the people he was fighting wasn't very good. Let's just keep it a buck. Can we stop playing these games? Triple G has one of the worst resumes of any middleweight. Resume is god awful. But then you guys got the audacity. Now, and here's the difference between Triple G and Brian Norman Jr. Triple G was in his 30s when they was lining up. Was in his 30s, late 20s, when they were lining him up with all these tomato cans to fight, all these shoe salesmen, all these truck drivers. Brian Norman Jr. is only 24. So now what? Please stop trying to talk boxing with me, because you definitely don't know what you're talking about. Just stop it. You really have no clue of what you're talking about. You are outwitted. You are outmatched. Of course, it's listen. Mostly the people that's hating have Spanish names, and then of course there's a couple of Sambos or maybe some Bouts extremists. Listen, I'm gonna say this again. I like Bouts. I've done interviews with Bouts. I've done interviews with his father, but at the end of the day, people gonna start putting a question mark around Bouts. But Bouts is going up to 154, and he's trying to fight Virgil Ortiz. But now it looks like Virgil Ortiz isn't interested in that fight. So I'm just saying. Yeah, of course, the people that's hating on Brian Norman Jr. primarily got a Hispanic last name. But when it comes to their fighters, they want us to kiss the pinky ring. They want us to get on our knees and bow down. But they always try to tear down our fighters. Like, man, if you don't get out of here, I'm serious, man. If you don't get out of here with that junk, like I said, I can't wait to talk to Brian Norman Sr. I'm gonna try to tap in with him probably Sunday, because at the end of the day, they're gonna have a long plane ride. They're gonna be on that plane for a while. They're gonna be on that plane anywhere from, who knows, anywhere from 10 to 12 hours, depending if they have a short layover. But I'm pretty sure, well, Jackson Hatfield is the most busiest airline in the country. So hopefully they'll have a short and direct flight. Hopefully it's under 12 hours, but they're gonna be on that plane for a while. So I'm gonna let them get some rest. I'm gonna tap in with them probably Saturday. Probably see can I get them on here like maybe Sunday morning. But yeah, man, shout out to Brian Norman Jr. I know other people won't give him his props, but I'm gonna give him his props. That was a great performance. Outstanding performance. Like I said, knockout of the year. Man, I'm gonna say something about Roy Jones, man. Like I said, Roy Jones from 21 to like 30, Roy Jones was damn near unbeatable. It was just some things Roy Jones Jr. didn't do when he got a little bit older. He didn't retweak, his fighting style a little bit, because, as you get older, you have to retweak your fighting style. You seen it with Terrence Crawford. You seen it with Floyd Mayweather. A guy who didn't retweak his fighting style as he got older. I told y'all, I was one of the dudes that told y'all about Amir Khan. That Amir Khan, the way he fights as he get older, that isn't gonna work. And I'm gonna do a video about Amir Khan versus Floyd Mayweather and why Floyd Mayweather would have beat Amir Khan if they would have fought. I laugh at the fact that you actually got people that actually think Floyd Mayweather would have lost to Amir Khan. That's an 8-round fight at best, maybe 9. But I'm gonna do a video breaking that down. But Roy Jones, man, was special. I know Roy Jones Jr. towards the latter end of his career, he started to get hit a lot and he got stopped. But Roy, what he did the first half of his career, my God. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I think Roy should have quit after he beat Luis, because he went up to heavyweight and fought. And that's what I was talking about with Bud. Like, Bud doesn't have to necessarily come in at 168, exactly 168. If I'm Bud, like I said, I would come in between 162 to 165. And a lot of people are saying that. One dude said Bud should come in at 164. That's feasible. Which, by the way, Birdie the Boxer, he will be coming on here pretty soon. I'm going to talk to Birdie the Boxer, but they really are beginning training camp. They at the early stages of training camp. I'm going to try to see could I come down to Omaha and see maybe could I get one day of footage of Bud training. But I'm going to have to go through Bud's people. I'm going to have to try to see, I'll talk to Bomac and talk to Bernie and talk to possibly, Coach Red and see maybe can I make that happen. But yeah, man, stop hating on. But yeah, man, stop hating on Brian Norman Jr., man. I'm sick of this stuff, man. I really am. All right, I see I got a troll. This is what we do to trolls. Zero tolerance. Oh, anybody come on here trolling, anybody say something stupid, moderators instantly block them. Zero tolerance for trolls. I'm not even finna do this because I'm finna talk some facts. So now, what is next for Brian Norman Jr.? Well, he got a lot of options. He could entertain the Devin Haney fight. But I would wait for the Devin Haney fight. I wouldn't take that fight right now. And no, it wouldn't be a duck. What I'm saying is build up the Devin Haney fight. Let Devin get acclimated, get comfortable with 147. See, can Devin win a couple of titles or a title at 147. And then Boots and Boots, depending on what he does, but it looked like Boots is moving up to 154. So that's neither here or there. He said that he might not be able to make 147, which I understand that about Boots. You may see Boots go all the way up to, excuse me, buffering a little bit, but you may see Boots go as far as maybe 168, but I definitely think that Boots is not going to finish his career at 154. Boots is probably, at best, Boots probably will have maybe, depending on how they line the fights up and how quickly they line the fights up, Boots is probably going to move up to probably by the time Boots is 30, he probably will be campaigning probably at 160. And he may finish his career in between 160 and 168, because Boots, the type of build Boots has, he could go up multiple weight classes. But getting back to Brian Norman Jr., his stock went up a lot. It would make sense. My own personal opinion, it would make sense for him to go. It would make sense for him to go to the WBC and force Mauricio Sullivan's hand and say, "Hey, we want the winner of Pacquiao and Barrios and a unification bout." A lot of people are going with Manny Pacquiao to win this fight. Surprisingly, I'm going to say this again. No disrespect to Mario Barrios, but this is the honest to God truth. If Mario Barrios loses to Manny Pacquiao, a 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao who hasn't fought in 4 years. Manny Pacquiao hasn't fought since 2021. I think he hasn't fought since August of 2021 when he fought Ugas. If Mario Barrios loses to Manny Pacquiao, and let alone he gets stopped, I really think he should consider retirement. I really do. I have to keep it a buck. And I like Mario Barrios. I remember when Mario Barrios was training in well, I ain't gonna say where the gym is located. I'm not gonna say where the gym is located, but I remember when Mario Barrios was training at Virgil Hunter's gym when he was, a young up and coming fighter. So I seen him before he came up. I saw Joey Spencer. Shout out to Joey Spencer. Before Joey Spencer went pro. And I like Joey Spencer. Joey Spencer is a cool cat, So I saw Mario Barrios, met his father. His father is a nice dude and everything. So I saw him, but he just had, the thing is, even at his age, he didn't have some wear and tear on him. I think Mario Barrios, another thing was, I think it took him a little too long to move up to welterweight, because Mario Barrios is legitimately 5'11", 6 feet tall. And I think he just campaigned at a lower weight class far too long. I say this about these guys. Sometimes when you just freakishly tall and stuff, a lot of times you be hurting your body trying to make weight when you campaigning at a certain weight class. Sometimes you have to listen to your body. And maybe what's going on with Boots, he's listening to his body. I understand if Boots can't make 147 anymore, and maybe he should move up. But at the same time, if you decide to continue to fight at a certain weight class, then you can't say nothing if you lose a fight. You get out when you can. And maybe Boots is like, all right, I'm struggling to make 147, so maybe it's just time. Maybe it's time to move on up like George Jefferson. But I'm looking at the options, man. A Brian Norman Jr. Manny Pacquiao fight would be big. Even though I don't think that fight is going to end I don't think that fight is going to fare too well for Manny Pacquiao. I don't see no scenario with Manny Pacquiao beating Brian Norman Jr. Just too strong, too powerful. And the thing with Brian Norman Jr., he would walk Manny Pacquiao down. That's what he would do. He would walk Manny Pacquiao down. He would bully Manny Pacquiao. And the thing is with Brian Norman Jr., he could end a punch with either hand. I just think that he would knock out Manny Pacquiao. I think he would brutally knock out Manny Pacquiao. And we'll see in a couple of weeks what happens. Because if Manny Pacquiao beats Mario Barrios, and the WBC orders Manny Pacquiao versus Brian Norman Jr., we'll see will Manny Pacquiao vacate. Because I don't think Manny Pacquiao will, none of Brian Norman Jr., but I'm going to ask him, like I said, the logical fight should be unification. Now, once again, the question is the PBC going to try to hold the belts hostage? Because we know the PBC has, over the years, got favorable treatment from the WBC. But then again, Mauricio Solomon basically goes the direction whoever sends in the biggest sanctioning fee. If you catch my drift, that's just real talk. So we'll see what happens down the line. But once again, man, shout out to Brian Norman Jr., man. Great performance. And I just want to tell you, motherfuckers, stop hating, man. Give the man his just due, man. Stop trying to downplay what he did. All right? Stop trying to downplay what the young brother did, man. Great performance. So, this your boy Town. I'm out.